My name is Reverend Ann Sermons Gillis, and I'm a member of Unity of Charleston. Today, I'm very glad to interview one of our long-term members, Olivia Lopez. Welcome, Olivia.
Hi,
Really glad to have you today. And I want to start at the beginning. Where were you born?
I was born right here in Charleston, South Carolina, born and raised.
Born and raised. And so, in what part of the Charleston area do you live now?
I live in West Ashley.
West Ashley. And I'll just mention that all of your members of your family are members of the Unity Church. Tell me who they are, your family members.
So my mother and father are Homero and Lisa Lopez, and my brother is Ethan Lopez.
And we've had Ethan who has done music for us before, correct? And you
Yes, he is very much a blues aficionado, and so he's performed during the Sunday services. And my mother serves on the board, and my father will sometimes help out with volunteering. So we're all very involved with Unity of Charleston.
very active, and I know that you relieve Jim Gibson sometimes on the Facebook feed. And also do
Yes.
platforming, to go up and introduce our principles and read the daily word. So we appreciate your service. Thank you so much. So tell me, when I ask about your career, have you been working and now you're going to school, or tell me how that's gone, or tell me what's going on with all of that.
So my end goal is to be a research scientist. About a year ago, I graduated with my bachelor's in neuroscience from the University of South Carolina. And for the past year, I've been back in Charleston, so it's been nice to be in the Unity community again. And I've been working at MUSC. Um, I've been a scholar in something called the Post-Baccalaureate Research Education Program. So it's a program designed for students who recently graduated and they want to do a PhD. And so that program has helped me get more research experience and helped me in the process of applying to graduate school. So the past year, I've been working in a hearing research lab, doing hearing tests on mice and having many opportunities to go to science conferences and present my work. And in a few months, I will be starting my neuroscience PhD at the University of Alabama. So I'm very grateful for that, although I will have to leave Charleston.
Right. And the university, I don't know if you said it, you may have cut out University of Alabama, where in Tuscaloosa and where
Birmingham.
in Birmingham. You kind of cut out there. Okay. So can you tell me a little bit about your spiritual search? You may be still in the middle of the search, but just tell me about maybe your beliefs or your how you came to those.
I feel like I've had it pretty easy being born and raised in the Unity community. I feel like I didn't have to do a lot of soul searching or spiritual searching because Unity was already such a good fit for me. And to be fair, I didn't have a lot to compare it with, but I just always felt at home with the Unity way of thinking, the Unity beliefs and practices for spirituality, and that's what has really always worked for me.
Well, now, were your parents members before you were born, or were you a little older when they started going to Unity?
They were members before I was born, actually. I believe that my parents found Unity um, shortly after they moved back to the US. They were living in Mexico for a short time and working there. And when they moved back to the US, they found Unity, and that's around the time that they started creating our family. So,
And we just love the Lopez family. They're a wonderful family and such an integral part of our church. They're pretty amazing people. So just in a few sentences after this, you didn't have to do so much soul searching because it seems like you landed right in the middle of what you need, where you needed to be. What would you say that your philosophy of life is now?
one of the things that has stuck with me most about Unity is the third principle. Thoughts held in mind tend to produce after their kind. And I feel like that's one of my central beliefs in what my life philosophy, because it really makes an impact on your response to interactions with other people or the struggles that you're facing in life. Because a lot of that can be internal, and we can choose how to respond to the external and how to process all of that. And the internal is really what creates your external reality. So I feel like not only in the everyday life, but also in my career path or setting goals for myself, just remembering inside that you can choose to be confident in yourself, have a positive look on your future really makes a difference to me, and it's central to my life philosophy.
Wonderful. Well, do you have any books that you have enjoyed reading that you think were helpful in your life?
Um, I'm not one that reads a lot of books, to be honest, and I don't think I've read any spiritually related books. I was gifted the Four Agreements for my graduation from the University of South Carolina. And now that I finally have free time before I start grad school, I'm planning on reading that at least. But I don't do a lot of reading.
Well, I suspect that in school you had to do a lot of reading. And so that didn't give you so much. After you read, you may not want to read other material.
That's true. The books I've read most recently aren't really related to spirituality. I like reading books by Sam Keen. He writes about science in a way that's very friendly to lay people, and he also describes the history of scientific discoveries. So I personally find that very interesting. I read one of his books related to neuroscience and history behind some of its great discoveries. And I'm reading one now about the history of genetics. And I'm planning on reading about his fun stories about the periodic table as well. Certain elements were discovered. That's more along the lines of what I like to read, I guess. And as for anything else, I did read The Count of Monte Cristo, which is really long. It's kind of funny that I don't read much, but I loved that book. And I
Ah,
guess you could say it does give you some life lessons. Um, Revenge, of course, is a cycle and a path of destruction. And if you go down that path, you will lose yourself along the way. So if I was to take a life lesson from that, definitely.
well, yes, those are good reads. I mean, I'm reading a book about the holographic universe right now, and a lot about consciousness, and consciousness and science are very much well read if it's not scientific materialism, but if it's an alternative science, then there's a lot of crossover with science and consciousness. Do you have any favorite hobbies or sports or passions other than going to school? Maybe you don't have time, haven't had time, but anything else that you like to do?
I do enjoy baking. Um, so I just like to bake and share my baked goods with my friends and family. I did bring some lemon bars to the book and bake sale this past weekend, and I'm definitely planning on bringing more baked goods for future Unity events while I'm still here. So that's something that I very much enjoy doing. And something that I haven't had as much time for has been playing musical instruments. So I did take piano lessons when I was younger until about middle school, and then I was self-taught from that point. And I used to like to play movie soundtracks or um, themes from TV shows or movies, things like that. I haven't had much time or energy to do that, but maybe I'll do that a little bit during my summer break. And the same thing with other instruments like clarinet and ukulele. I haven't been playing those much either, but music has a special place in my heart, and I guess in the Lopez family as well with how my brother is. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Well, do you have any spiritual practices that you do?
um, unfortunately, I don't have anything consistent. I do try to meditate sometimes, but um, I guess I've been getting caught up in reality and responsibilities and focusing on my career, but I hope to keep making that a more consistent practice.
Do you mind me asking you how old you are? You don't have to answer.
I'm 22.
22. Okay. Well, a lot of people at age 22 don't have a spiritual practice, so I'm sure you're not alone with that. It has been, well, you do have a spiritual practice in that you come to church every Sunday. That is a spiritual practice as well. So we'll include that uh, too. So I want to thank you so much. I wonder if there's anything else that you might want to say before we close.
Um, I will say that Unity has made a great impact on my life, and I'm grateful for the welcoming atmosphere of the Unity of Charleston community. And it's helped me go through all the trials and tribulations of growing up, but still feel normal in a way, I would say. It's it's been a great experience to have. Also, the Unity Youth of Unity program was really impactful for me as well. While I was in high school, I attended many of the Southeast Youth of Unity rallies that were hosted in Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, and I got to meet so many other young Unity members from other churches across the Southeast and bond and interact with them and grow spiritually with them. And that was a really impactful experience for me. So I hope that maybe someday we can see more youth at the Unity of Charleston and that they get to have that nice experience.
Yes, that's a wonderful experience. So glad you got to do that. I want to thank you for being with us today. Thank you so much and wish you wonderful luck in your next adventure, getting your PhD in neuroscience. Thank you.
Thank you.